What's going on, you guys? Made it to downtown Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm over here by Louisville Slugger Field. Louisville Slugger Field was named, of course, after the world famous baseball bat Louisville Slugger. But right in front of the field is Louisville native and NFL Hall of Famer and legend Paul Hornung. Paul Hornung had a long established career in the NFL. Very versatile player who played both halfback, quarterback, and kicker. And also all-around college athlete at University of Notre Dame, where he played basketball and football. Now, Paul Hornung, as described by Hall of Fame legendary head coach Vince Lombardi, was the greatest player that Lombardi ever coached. He was well-versed, versatile, and the first Heisman Trophy winner to win the NFL Most Valuable Player Award. And Paul Hornung, who was born and raised here in Louisville, the son of Paul and Paul Vernon Hornung Sr. and Loretta Williams, he attended the Flaggett Catholic School, where he was an outstanding athlete and lettered 4 years in football, basketball, and baseball. So basically he was recruited by Bear Bryant, who at the time was head coach at Kentucky, but chose to attend Notre Dame instead. So Paul Hornung was highly touted high school athlete, and he had a Hall of Fame NFL career, which included a Super Bowl title, 4 NFL championships, Pro Football Hall of Fame induction in 1986, and a 2-time Pro Bowler and 3-time NFL scoring leader and NFL rushing touchdowns leader. So many accolades for the hometown legend Paul Hornung, as his statue was erected right here in front of Louisville Slugger Field. And there you go, the skyline of downtown Louisville. Let's go. What's going on, good people? This is P9 with another vlog, and I am here in downtown Louisville, Kentucky. Now, before we get into the core of downtown and checking it out, I'm gonna start things off right over here by the Ohio Riverfront, this dope Waterfront Park right here in downtown Louisville. And I'm right here over here on Preston Street, and right over here by the riverfront is this sculpture garden called the Flock of Finns, which is the work of Marvin Finn, who was an internationally known Louisville folk artist. The 28 colorful steel sculpture before you are based on Finn's original work, small wooden birds known for their varied patterns and bright colors. So let's take a look, shall we? Look at these beautiful works of art by Marvin Finn. Really nice sculptures of the various species of birds. Look how cool this looks. Now, in each of these sculptures have their own unique designs to them, different colors. What are these, like flamingos right here? The 6-headed flamingo. Flock of Fins. It's the name of this sculpture park right here by the Louisville Waterfront. And of course you get a nice view from the waterfront of the buildings of downtown, many of which are office buildings. You see the KFC Yum Center, where the Louisville women's and men's basketball team plays their home games. And you see a couple of like major corporations, buildings, and hotels. So really nice skyline. So let's go check out the Riverfront, because I've been told that Louisville has a really top tier Riverfront Park. Really nicely developed. I didn't really get a chance to, last time I came to Louisville, I didn't really get a chance to thoroughly walk down the Riverfront and check out the whole park. I remember months after I went to Owensboro, Kentucky, saw their riverfront and said this has to be the best looking riverfront in Kentucky. And there was another brother that came in and was like, no way, it's actually the Riverfront Park in Louisville is the best looking one. So it's really nicely put together so far. So far, liking what I'm seeing. And I see in the distance over there, they have a Joe's Crab Shack. I think that's about as far as I came last time I came to Louisville. I got to that part of the Riverfront, not far from the Galt House Hotel. I didn't come this far down though. Looks like a lot more development down this way. You see those logs and stuff, sticks off of the river. And of course you see the bridge. There's two bridges right over there. Both of them are auto bridges. So basically the name of these bridges, one of them is called the Lewis and Clark Bridge, which carries I-265, and the Abraham Lincoln Bridge and the JFK Memorial Bridge, both of those carry I-65. This is a really nicely developed waterfront park. Try to make this quick because it's extremely hot out here. Should have grabbed me a bottle of water if I came out here. it's all good. Make this quick, go grab some water and continue vlogging. You guys see behind me the Ohio River and the bridges and everything. But check out this really dope sculpture right here. And not only is it dope in regards to its design, but it's dope in the sense that it provides shade, lots of it. It's a really nice Riverfront Park right here. And let me see if I can grab some info on this sculpture. This is called the Grace Hopper, and it was sculpted by Tony Smith. Now, Tony Smith conceived the idea of this black painted steel sculpture back in between the years of 1961 and 1972. And this actually is on loan from the Kentucky Performing Arts Foundation. But the Grace Hopper was once in a museum at the Kentucky Center of the Arts, and the Humana Foundation and Wendell Cherry, the first chairman of the board of the Kentucky Center of the Arts, basically donated this sculpture to the Waterfront Park. And here's some info right here, by the way. This is where I'm gathering this information. So Tony Smith was the sculptor, and the move of the Grace Hopper to the Waterfront Park was made possible through the generosity of the Friends of the Waterfront. So it was back in September 30th, 1999, when this black steel painted sculpture was moved over here to the Waterfront Park. Right over here by the Joe's Crab Shack, and a really nice view from this sculpture. So yeah, this does it for the Riverfront Louisville edition of this vlog, but there's more footage of downtown to come, so stay tuned. About to do a drive through downtown vlog, and just past Louisville Slugger Field, which is home of the Louisville Bats of the minor league. They're the AAA affiliate of the Cincinnati Reds of the majors. So now I'm riding down Witherspoon Street. And it's so hot, you guys. I got the AC running, so I'm going to project my voice. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me over the sound of the air conditioning. Yes, riding down Witherspoon Street, heading into downtown Louisville. A lot of nice buildings, of course, downtown. I'm about a couple blocks away from the Ohio Riverfront, right here in downtown. And I'm facing the KFC Yum Center. KFC Yum Center is the arena and home arena of the Louisville Cardinal men and women's basketball team. And right here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but on the right is an image of Static from the group Player, the R&B group from the 90s called Player. They're they're known for their song Cheers to You. And they're based out of here in Louisville, Kentucky. R.I.P. to Static Major, who's not only a singer but a record producer as well. And it sits on the side of this museum called Roots 101 African American Museum. So that's pretty cool. They have an African American museum right downtown Louisville. I'm on 1st Street, and I'm outside of what looks like a hotel. I think it's a hotel. It's called Moxie. There goes the Aloft Hotel, right here at the corner of 1st and Main Street. So they have public parking right here for $8. Corner East Market. East Market is the main drag through the East Market district, which is right outside of downtown. All right, let me go around this bus. Still here on 1st Street. So I'm around the University of Louisville Health District. Take this right on Muhammad Ali Boulevard. At the corner of Muhammad Ali and 2nd Street. Speaking of Muhammad Ali is Louisville's native son. The heavyweight champion of the world, of course. His heyday was in the 60s and 70s as far as his career. Of course, his career was derailed because of his refusal to go into the military draft during the Vietnam War. So he became a champion not only in the ring, but in as far as the civil rights and everything like that. So, you know, I mean, Muhammad Ali was a fighter of many things outside of the ring. He was originally Cassius Clay, but he, when he converted to Islam, he became Muhammad Ali. But while he was still under the name of Cassius Clay, he won his first heavyweight fight against Sonny Liston in what many people thought was a long shot. But Muhammad Ali did come out victorious, or as he was known then as Cassius Clay. And who could forget those media those media appearances? And you know, Ali had such a heavy media presence, especially when it came to him and Howard Cosell. those are classics. You know, I still watch those interactions between him and Howard Cosell from time to time on YouTube. Right now I'm still on Ali Boulevard, and it's just a bunch of historic buildings. They actually have what looks like the Starks building right here on the right. And they have Eddie Merlot's seafood, beef and seafood restaurant, 4th Street Live. Kentucky Towers right there on the left. Or the Gardens. It's missing the A and the R, so I thought it said the G Dens. Got the River City Bank right here on the left. Let me go ahead and turn down this way. Cracking down here on Chestnut Street. I'm on 6th Street now. I'm about to turn onto Chestnut. And they have WHAS. I don't know if that's a radio station or a TV station, but it sounds like some call letters, perhaps for a radio station. No, it's a TV station. I stand corrected. WHAS, which is the ABC affiliate here in Louisville, Channel 11. On your side is their slogan. And I see right here on the billboard on Saturday, August 23rd at 7 a.m. right here in Louisville. They have what's called the Black Men's Wellness Day, where they provide free health screenings and a 5K walk and run, and it's a public event. It's pretty cool that they do those things right here in the city for the locals. Community-oriented type activities. At the corner of Chestnut and 3rd Street. Again, you guys, forgive the AC. If you hear the noise, that's the AC. But hey, it's too hot not to run it, so yeah. Sorry about that. Camera cut off. But now I'm at the corner of Broadway and 3rd Street. Yeah, the camera overheated, cut off, and you know how that go. But back in business, so just waiting for this light to turn green, of course. But there's an apartment building right here on the left. Now leasing. I want to say on the right, I want to say that's the courthouse, the county courthouse. Make this right on York Street. No, this is actually a library. It's the library. See See those Greek columns? Louisville Public Library. We have a high-rise apartment building right here. Statue of Abraham Lincoln in front of that library. I'm gonna go right. No, I'm gonna go straight. I'm gonna keep going straight through the light. It's the Hayburn building right here on the right. Brown Hotel just passed by. Scion Health Building. See that sculpture right there with that blue and white? It's a representation of everything Louisville. They even have the horse for the Kentucky Derby. They have a guy rowing the boat on the Ohio River. You have Muhammad Ali on there. And this is actually by the theater, the Ohio Theater. The Palace Theater. Still downtown. Getting ready to turn off of 4th Street. And to the left, you have the Sealback Hotel, which is now owned by the Hilton Hotel chain. And this is 4th Street Live, a major entertainment district right here in Louisville. Chestnut Center right there. And here's a marker for the campaign to end segregation in Louisville. The full-scale assault on racial segregation in Louisville began in February 1961 when local high school students staged nonviolent demonstrations. Under leadership of the NAACP and CORE, they demanded passage of laws to end public racial discrimination. 4th Street was the hub of community activity where many protests and arrests occurred. So of course, Louisville was one of the many cities where there was a lot of civil rights demonstrations and fights for equality. And you also have right here Negotiations with city officials, demonstrations, and economic boycott, voter registration, and issue-oriented voting led to the passage on May 14, 1963, of law making it unlawful for anyone to be refused service in a public place because of race, color, religion, or national origin. So all of the demonstrations and negotiations with city officials paid off, because that put an end to all of the discrimination in regards to providing services in public places. But yes, this is 4th Street, so this is basically kind of like the arts district of downtown. As we saw right in the drive, there's the Palace Theater right over here. And here goes a building right here that hosts a bevy of radio stations. Summit Media, 103.9 The Groove, Classic 102.7 The Eagle. And this is the building right here. So this is the radio station. Different, you have Classic Rock 107 The Eagle, Mix 106.9, Q 103.1, and 103.9 The Groove. All stations based out of here in Louisville. And here's some information on Mary Anderson, who was a world-famed Louisville actress who made her debut in this city at Macaulay's Theater, November 27th, 1875, and went on to triumphs in Shakespearean roles in New York and England, where she retired after marriage. So that's just some information on Mary Anderson, big-time performer from Louisville. So there goes that, the side of that building right there. So the Rialto and Mary Anderson theaters were the sites of mass demonstrations and arrests during the Nothing New for Eastern campaign. Nothing New for Eastern campaign, and the Rialto Theater opened in 1921 as Louisville's first grand movie palace. The first of the theaters constructed along 4th Street, the theater offering first-run movies. It could seat 3,500 people, had chandeliers of Bohemian crystal and great marble staircase and a $30,000 pipe organ. The theater hosted name brands and shows. In addition to the vaudeville type, the theater had featured almost exclusively one show featured a new artist, Elvis Presley, in 1955. And the Mary Anderson Theater opened in 1933 and was named so in honor of actress Mary Anderson, who with her parents moved to Louisville when she was 3 years old. Mary was educated in Louisville and went on to enjoy a successful stage career. But this is, you know, these two historical sites are where a lot of sit-ins took place, demonstrations during the Civil Rights era. As you can see, there's a carving of illustration of what was going on. And now this is what this used to be what's called a Black Jockey's Lounge. It's closed until further notice, according to the sign over here. But this is South 4th Street, right here on Main Street here in downtown Louisville. And we're going to check out some of the cool sites on Main Street, starting with this site right here. This site stood Fort Nelson, which was built in 1787 under the direction of George Rogers Clark after the expedition which gave the country the Great Northwest. the Colonial Dames of America and the state of Kentucky in 1912. So this site is to commemorate the establishment of the town of Louisville. So we're going to proceed to walk over here to this section. Now we're only a couple of blocks away from the Ali Center, but right here just gives you some insight on the stockade on Corn Island, where a group of pioneers under the military protection of General George Rogers Clark made the original settlement of the town of Louisville in May 1778 on Corn Island. Then about 150 yards from shore, opposite of this site, which is they also established it along the river. So this is the site where Fort Nelson was established. So we're going to proceed down Main Street. And there goes a sculpture, Roman Roman god sculpture. And over here, since we're close to the Louisville Slugger Museum, they have several markers that are engraved into the ground in the form of a base. A baseball base, and this one in particular is a Walk of Fame of George Sizzler, bat model S91. And with that bat model, George Sizzler established a single season record with 257 hits in 1920, a record that stood for 84 years. He set that mark in a 154 game season while batting .407. He hit over 400 a second time, achieving an amazing .420 average in 1922, while hitting safely in 41 consecutive games. So, obviously those Louisville Slugger bats proved to be very successful, being used throughout the majors, going all the way back to the 1920s. And this is a really nice sculpture. This is an artist, this was done by artist Enrique Andres Santiago, and it's called The Ville. And it's basically just a horse with a bunch of squiggly lines on it. It's really dope. And aside from museums and things of that nature, there's also restaurants. Of course, whiskey, bourbon restaurants or bars that sell bourbon and whiskey. Wow, I just passed by a Subway. That Subway was completely empty. That's crazy. Does nobody not go to a Subway anymore? That's wild. Well, no longer having those $5 footlongs will keep a lot of people away. As you can see right here is the Kentucky Science Center. Kentucky Science Center. So one of the many museums right here on Main Street District, downtown. have these Lime scooters as well over here for those interested in taking a ride on those scooters. As you can see, it goes another one of these baseball bats sculptures, along with another Walk of Fame. This is of Lewis Robert Hack Wilson, who set a single season RBI mark with 191 in 1930 with the Chicago Cubs. So there you go right there. Let me get closer up to it. I'm gonna cross over here. Barrels and Billets custom bourbon. Yeah, the National Society of the Sons of the American Revolution over there. Here goes the Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory. So this is an actual museum right here in Louisville. Pete Browning. Here comes the front of the Louisville Slugger Museum right there. You see that huge bat, nicely sculpted in front of the museum. And I had to come across the street over here because they actually have a genealogical research library here at the Sons of American Revolution. And this is a sculpture right here of, well, let me get the name of it. It's called the Sons of Liberty, 1775. Pennsylvania Society, founded in 1993. Honor the history of the Philadelphia Continental Chapter, founded in 1901. Pedestal compliments of J. David and Evelyn Simpson, President, General, and First Lady. So I guess these are the individuals who are responsible for this nice sculpture. It's a sculpture basically of an American Revolution soldier. So you have the Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory down here. You have the American Revolution, Sons of American Revolution Museum, the Kentucky Science Center. I mean, tons of museums and restaurants in this district right here. You also have the Fraser History Museum right here. Fraser, Kentucky History Museum. Check this out. Look at this Ford Model T. Sits right outside of the Fraser Museum. Really nice. I can see myself pushing one of these Model Ts right here. So they have bourbon tastings daily, over 99 flavors of bourbon. You have this neat sculpture right here of Louisville, Kentucky natives. You have George Clooney right here. You have a bucket of fried chicken, which symbolizes KFC, Kentucky Fried, which is headquartered here in Louisville. You have Abraham Lincoln, the first black president in history. You know, I always got to say that every time I see Abe Lincoln. Tory Merton McClure. Jack Harlow, the rapper Jack Harlow, he's from Louisville. And you have York right here. Is that the name of, is that one of the slaves? I'm not sure who York is, but whoever he is, he's affiliated with the city of Louisville. And I believe there's some more on the other side. Yes, there is. You have Jennifer Lawrence, actress from Louisville. You have the world's greatest, Muhammad Ali. Daniel Boone. So you have basketball. You have sports cars, bluegrass music, where the world meets Kentucky. And you have boxing. Now, this by the way, the name of this sculpture is called the History Buff, sponsored by the Fraser Museum, and the artist is Victor Sweat. Shout out to Victor Sweat for this really nice work of art right here on display outside of the Fraser Museum. Check this out. Louisville, Kentucky. Y'all, may the force be with y'all. Souvenirs. Yes, sir.
Oh, your contact?
Yeah,
Oh, I was just, we got this.
Oh, they got
mural.
that over there. I ain't even noticed that, bro.
So that's new. We've got a news conference about it tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm Pierce.
Simon Miners.
Simon, nice to meet you, Simon. My channel is called P9 Travel Vlogs. All one word, P9 Travel Vlogs. Cool. And yeah, so I just go around different cities, getting the history and getting the footage of just like the sites and the monuments and everything like that. So
well, yeah, we're Kentucky's largest history museum.
Okay.
Been here back in 2004, and this mural we just got put on by OSRS Mural Company.
Okay.
We're gonna officially put the finishing touches on it tomorrow morning at a news conference, 10 a.m. tomorrow, Friday, August 15th, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, it represents everything inside the museum. We got the world's oldest Civil War monument inside. We've got Tory Burton's boat. We got disco balls, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Kentucky music.
Okay.
Everything about the great state of Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come. Matter of fact, I'm gonna come tomorrow. I'm gonna come over here and check it out tomorrow.
Yeah. The news conference will be 10 a.m. So we're open 10 to 5.
Okay.
All right,
okay.
cool.
I appreciate it, Simon. Nice to meet you. Good to meet you as well. You too, man. Yeah. Shout out to Simon. You know, informing me of what they have tomorrow. They're gonna have news coverage of this mural right here. And this is really cool, by the way. This is really nice. I'm glad he pointed this out to me, because I probably would have walked by and not noticed it. And it's hard not to notice it because it's huge. It's huge, but you see right here, the World Meets Cool Kentucky Fraser History Museum. And check this out. They also have this trolley right here. They have trolley tours right here in Louisville as well. So for those who's interested in coming to Louisville, Louisville is a pretty nice city to visit. Nice city to a lot of history. You know, I'm definitely going to come check out this museum tomorrow morning. It's called the Fraser Museum. Come inside, the finger licking good. Okay. So of course KFC. It's a lot of cool. It's a really cool mural right here on the side of this museum. So they have there's sculptures in front of the horses. That's pretty dope. In memory of the first victims, 32 India, the bazaar, the classic the presidential, the feverish. Is that a disco ball? So apparently they had disco. I know Kentucky's known for, aside from its horse racing, it's known for its auto racing as well, automotive racing. Where the world meets Kentucky, the world famous Fraser Kentucky History Museum. Pretty cool. But yeah, it was really nice meeting Simon, you know, and I'm glad. I didn't even know about the Fraser Museum. I knew about the Louisville Slugger Museum and the Muhammad Ali Center, but I wasn't aware of the Fraser Museum, so that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. A last stroll of creativity right here on Main Street. You have this mural. Looks like a cardinal, which is a Kentucky state bird. And you have the different colors. And it says shine bright. Shine bright. Really nice artwork over here. And it's right next to this overpass where I-64 and I-65 meet. Check that out. Like an old warehouse across the street that's for sale. Abandoned warehouse where it used to house a distillery company. And check this out. Straight Edge at Straight Edge Creative Gather. It's Caulfield's. Nice little sculpture on the nice little mural on the side. Are y'all just closed? Oh yeah. What's up, man? How y'all doing?
Doing good, real Louisville local.
Y'all Louisville local? Okay. Is this like a little shop or something?
A little Halloween store.
Halloween store, okay.
Shit 5.
Okay, that's what's up. Y'all open y'all closed for the day?
They're open.
Are they open?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, y'all just just looking around. Okay. Well, nice meeting y'all.
Yeah, bro.
And you know, hopefully cross paths next time I'm in town.
Yes, bro.
Yeah,
They
definitely.
can take videos of all this cool art around.
Okay,
Yeah.
most definitely, man. What's your name?
Elijah.
Elijah.
sir.
I'm Pierce.
Nice to meet you, Pierce.
Nice to meet you as well, man. Y'all take care. All right. Yeah, this is really cool. Caulfield's. Yeah, I gotta get some more of the area. It's a lot of cool artwork around here. Oh, so it's a Halloween store. Like Elijah pointed out, they have like costumes and all type of stuff around here for the unusual novelties. That's pretty dope, man. They got a lot of cool. I didn't even know it would be like this. It would be this decorated over here. But I gotta switch batteries real quick. So, one moment. And on Main Street, they have this Kentucky Lottery building. As I just reloaded my other battery. So, good to go. But yeah, this is a Kentucky Lottery building, the headquarters. And in front of it is this marker which talks about Bloody Monday, which took place on Election Day, August of 1855, and it was known as Bloody Monday due to riots led by the Know Nothing mobs. This political party was anti-Catholic and nativist. Attacks on German immigrants east of downtown and Irish in the west caused at least 22 deaths, arson, and looting. Catholic Cathedral of the Assumption and St. Martin's Church were threatened with destruction. So apparently it took place on this site where this Kentucky lottery is. Wow, crazy history. But yes, this is Caulfield's for the unusual novelties. Right here on Main Street and 10th Street. And there's so much artwork over here, guys, it's not even funny. It's some, and a lot of this artwork too is on the side of these old like warehouses what used to be distilleries. And you can see over here is a distillery company. It's actually called the Bourbon District, Kentucky Peerless Distilling. Today, Henry Craver's descendants, great-grandson Corky Taylor and great-great-grandson Carson Taylor have revived their family's brand under the original DSP KY50. Kentucky Peerless Distilling Company is housed in a former tobacco warehouse dating from the 1890s. Under one roof, the select Kentucky Peerless grains are milled, cooked, fermented, double distilled, barreled, and bottled as Peerless Rye Whiskey and Peerless Bourbon. So that's basically the process right here. It's a fermenting tank where they basically distill the bourbon and they barrel it. So that's basically the process right there. So shout out to the Taylors, the Taylor family, for keeping that distillery company active for many generations. But yeah, it's a lot of really cool artwork, as you can see over there on the side of the Caulfields. They have some pretty cool lounges over here as well. Yo, they have a showroom over there called BW. And they have a restaurant over there called the Biscuit Lounge. In fact, let me get closer up to it. Not quite sure what this building is, but it looks abandoned, apparently. But let me go to these sculptures of these horses. Now this right here has newspaper clippings, articles of newspapers sculpted into this frame right here. Wow. So you have right here this is a bunch of articles that was basically back in 1933 during the Prohibition era, and so there was a lot of legislation put in place in different states to prohibit the sale of alcohol. Of course, Kentucky being a state where there was a lot of not manufacturing, but production of distilled whiskey and bourbon. Kentucky was hit hard. The industry was hit hard due to the prohibition, as of many other states that sold alcohol. So Prohibition sweeps the state. North Carolina, the first southern state to vote prohibition by popular vote. In many counties, the majority for prohibition was even larger than it has been expected, especially in the western part of the state, which is, yeah, that is surprising. In North Carolina, up in the mountains, that the western part of North Carolina is the mountains. You would think they would be against, you know, the mountain folks be drinking like crazy. You would think they would be against prohibition, but apparently not. During that time. And real beer carton, 6 bottles for 55 cents. 55 cents was a lot of money back then. Just imagine they still have those prices today. And there was just many images of people drinking. You know, of course, you know, not everybody was you know, on board with beer and alcohol being prohibited. The GOP and the Democrats, you know, that was a contentious battle back in 1933. But I think that's one thing they could agree on. Both of them, both members of those parties do drink alcohol. So, and in December 5th, 1933, prohibition ends at last. Bunch of people holding up the "We Want Beer" picket signs. And so, like I said, of course, you know, there was bootleggers and all that type of stuff going on where, you know, they were selling alcohol on the black market during the prohibition. But yeah, prohibition era is ended. Utah's 36 states to ratify repeal. So this is just to highlight the history of the prohibition. And I really think that's really cool that they have this out here on display. Lot of history. And check this out. Colorful sculpture of this horse. There you have William Walker. I got to do some research on William Walker. But apparently that's him right there. He's horseback riding. This was 1877. Billy Walker, aka William Walker, was an American jockey, leading rider at the Kentucky Derby. And he rode on this horse called Baden Baden. And he was born enslaved back in 1860. So he was born a slave, but ended up becoming a big time Derby participant, Derby horseback rider. And that's him right there. So that's the first time I've heard of William Walker. So shout out to William Walker. And shout out to that whoever the artist is. I don't know who did these artworks or pieces of art, but whoever did them, shout out to you. Matter of fact, I think, no, right here, I had to go back and do a double take. I think it's Humbert Labera. I could barely see that, but that's the individual 2024 who did this mural. So shout out to Labera or Lahera. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name, but shout out to the artist of that beautiful mural. If it wasn't for that mural being displayed out there, I probably would not have known who William Billy Walker was. But yeah, guys, that pretty much sums up downtown on Main Street. I'm gonna do a little bit more driving and conclude the downtown Louisville vlog, so stay tuned. I couldn't leave the Main Street Art District without coming to get these nice art pieces. This nice mural right here. Funding, fueling imagination. The Kentucky Jackpot Lottery, Jackpot Factory, courtesy of the artcartel.org. It's a nice mural right here. But I definitely had to come over here and get this mural. Now this mural, where you can say it, where it says Assata Lives, RBPP. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say Assata, meaning Assata Shakur, mother of Tupac Shakur. But these are the names of the individuals, all black, that were killed due to police brutality. You have Tyler Girth, Dante Wright, Andre Hill, Manuel Ellis, Rayshard Brooks, Daniel Prude, Tatiana Jefferson, Aura Rosser and Stephon Clark. Tamir Rice, Philando Castile, Adam Toledo. And there goes George Floyd right there. It's an image of George Floyd. And it says right here, say their names. I just said their names. Yeah, Ahmaud Arbery. So you had George Floyd from Minnesota, Ahmaud Arbery from Georgia. I'm not sure who this is. Where's the name at? I'm not sure who this brother is right here. But you have Breonna Taylor right there. Breonna Taylor is a local of Louisville. You have Sandra Bland from Texas. It's a really nice mural right here. Really nice mural. And it's just some brother right here with a horn screaming out freedom. So this is just speaking out against the police brutality that has claimed the lives of these victims right here on this mural. Spray their names. Hashtag spray their names. Really nice artwork right here. And I got to give credit. You have here the artist right here. You have Whitney Holborn at the handle. I believe it's IG handle at Whitney Holborn. That's Whitney HOLBOURN, and at Resco_CMA, and at Andrew.Norris.Arts. So shout out to Brittany Holborn, Resco_CMA, and Andrew Norris for this really dope artwork right here on Main Street here in Louisville, Kentucky. Over here at the Waterfront Park by the Ohio River off of Main Street Art District here in Louisville. And this is another gem that I found here in the city along the Ohio Riverfront. This is the Waterfront Park, a modernized, really nicely landscaped and architected park right here. This is the playground, as you can see. Nicely put together. And these are all the people who contributed to building the Waterfront Park. These are the people and the amount they contributed. Shout out to all these folks right here. Wow. Yo, check this out. Check this out. Yo. This looks like this looks like an amusement park versus an actual, like a playground. They got building walls. They got this thing right here. What in the world? Construction cones. So they basically themed it. They themed the park after a construction site, basically. It's pretty dope, man. This is really unique and really creative and innovative. Yep, constructing the demolition equipment. Yeah, the bulldozers, the cranes, excavators, all that stuff. So all this was custom built playground equipment that was put together and completed actually March of this year. But they actually started developing the park, it looks like, back in 2004. So 21 years in the making. Really nice park, really nicely designed park here at the Ohio Riverfront in Louisville. The Louisville right here. Take a drive around the campus, and I'm around the area where there's a lot of the athletic facilities. Floyd Street, there's a Papa John's restaurant right there. There's a tunnel, University of Louisville tunnel. Underpass, you have the Cougar Center on the right. There's also a hotel on the left called the Denny Crum Hall, named after legendary Hall of Fame coach Denny Crum, who coached the University of Louisville's men's basketball team. But they do have a hotel named after him that's affiliated with the university. They also have a Louisville soccer team stadium on the left. It's called the Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium. Here is the L&N Stadium. L&N Stadium, which is home of the University of Louisville Cardinal football team. College football season's about to start, so that's pretty dope. They have the stadium right here. Now, this used to be called simply Cardinal Stadium, and then Papa John's Cardinal Stadium, and then, you know, the L&N Federal Credit Union took the naming rights. Of course, the Heisman Trophy winner Lamar Jackson, who's now the starting quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, won the Heisman Trophy here at the University of Louisville. Won that award back in 2016. Only at the age of 19 years old. The Louisville Cardinal football team has been in existence. Started playing football back in 1912. for the stadium right here. University of Louisville Medical Office Park over there. It's Jim Patterson Stadium right over here, home of the Louisville Cardinals baseball team. So again, just passed through a bunch of the athletic facilities for the U of L sports teams. I'm on 3rd Street now. Also thought it was worth mentioning that the University of Louisville is located not far from the airport. It's on the south end of the city of Louisville. This really dope building right here on the right is the Speed Art Museum. There it is right over here. This is the parking garage right here for the Speed Art Museum. Speed Art Museum is also affiliated with the university. So that's cool that the University of Louisville has a art museum on campus. You already know this university racks in the dough. And check out that sculpture right there. Dean Science Hall. So a lot of the academic buildings over in this area. Pan-African Studies Department building. Phil and James Davison Hall. you guys can see, that sun is really out. University Club and Alumni Center building right here. Goes the University of Louisville Police doing their thing, making sure that the campus is safe, obviously. It's a nice campus right here, the University of Louisville. Chartered in 1798 as the Jefferson Seminary, it became in the 19th century one of the first city-funded public colleges in the United States. It's interesting because during that time, a lot of the universities were located in rural areas, but Louisville, you know, became one of the first like inner city universities. So this university is 227 years old. Let me circle back around real quick. Get that University of Louisville sign in there. Johnny Unitas Tower. I forgot Johnny Unitas played college ball here at the University of Louisville. So I believe Johnny Unitas was also a Hall of Famer, of course, but he was also a league MVP in the NFL, just like Lamar Jackson. So you had two legendary quarterbacks come out the University of Louisville and became league MVPs in the NFL. It's pretty dope. They even have a campus store over there on the right. Natatorium over here. Now I'm in the area around the airport. There's going to be a string of hotels in this area, typical of areas that surround the airport. Now over here in this area is the Kentucky Fair and Expo Center. So that is where they have the annual Kentucky Fair, which is obviously a huge event right here in Louisville. Kentucky Expo Center on the left. Boys and Girls Club of Kentuckiana. And over here on the left where you see these roller coasters is the Kentucky Kingdom Amusement Park. Now, I remember at one point in time they were owned by Six Flags. I don't know if they still are or not, but that is Kentucky Kingdom Amusement Park. Over here nearby the Louisville Airport. Churchill Downs, home of the Kentucky Derby, the oldest continuously held sporting event in America for 3-year-old thoroughbreds. Aristides, owned by H.P. McGrath and ridden by black jockey Oliver Lewis, won the first Derby in 1875. Meriwether Lewis Clark Jr., grandson of explorer William Clark, named and modeled the Kentucky Derby after English Epsom Derby. And some more info back here. Now, Churchill Downs was a track owned by the Churchill family and was named in the 1880s. Twin spires designed by J. Valdez were built in 1895. Pari-mutuel battling machines or betting machines were introduced in 1908. Other track events were state fairs, band concerts, auto and airplane races, military horse and tank shows, and a train wreck. First radio broadcast was in 1925 and first TV broadcast was in 1949. This is Churchill Downs right here in Louisville, Kentucky. On the grounds of Churchill Downs, this is the front of the Kentucky Derby Museum. And right here is a statue of Barbaro, the horse, the thoroughbred, who was born April 29th, 2003, and passed away January 29th, 2007. This is the final resting place for Barbaro, who won the 2006 Kentucky Derby. So really nice sculpture sitting in front of the Churchill Downs Kentucky Derby Museum over here at the Executive Gate. In front of the historical, the monumental Churchill Downs racetrack right here in Louisville, Kentucky. And check this out. This is the Churchill Downs paddock gate, and here is a sculpture of Aristides, first Kentucky Derby winner in 1875. And this sculpture was dedicated November 1st, 1987, and was sculpted by Carl William Raguti. So shout out to Carl Raguti, the sculptor of this really nice statue of Aristides. And it's surrounded by all these nice plants, flowers, and all that good stuff. Now, thoroughbred racing is a staple obviously here in the state of Kentucky, but there's also thoroughbred racing that's famous across the world. And me personally, I've never gotten into thoroughbred racing. Not that it's not interesting, or not that I think it's anything lame or anything. It's just that it's just something I never sat down and took the time to watch. But yeah, this is Churchill Downs, and check this out. Look how really nice the grounds are. They actually have a groundskeeper out here now tending to the property, so this is really nice. They have the balcony over there, and really cool place to come check out some thoroughbred racing. I might actually go to a Kentucky Derby event one day. Seems like it'll be pretty fun. And keep in mind, they also have a museum here on the grounds of Churchill Downs, Kentucky Derby Museum, for those that are interested. Here's a map of the layout of the racetrack. As you can see right here, this is where we are, right over here, the paddock gate. And right next to that is the clubhouse. And here's the multiple entry gates. But yeah, the inaugural Kentucky Derby, as mentioned before, was run in 1875 at a length of 1.5 miles, the same distance as the Epsom Derby, before shortening its current 1 1/4 miles in 1896. So a crowd estimated at 10,000 was on hand for that first race, and the Kentucky Derby is America's longest continually held sporting event, drawing upwards of 150,000 spectators, and is one of the most watched sports broadcasts on TV each year, and ranks among the most prestigious horse races in the world. Now, this was named after John and Henry Churchill, and that's William and Clark's uncles, from whom he leased 80-acre site. And later in 1895, 24-year-old draftsman Joseph Dominic Valdez designed the iconic twin spires. Now, the architect of this in the design of this building, or this racetrack, was done by John Andrew Warther back in the 1890s. And centuries later, it still remains a remarkable landmark here in the state of Kentucky and in America as a whole. So this is Churchill Downs. Stay tuned for more content. I'm at this part of downtown called the Belvedere. The Belvedere sits between the Galt House, which you see right there, the Galt House Hotel, and the Ali Center. Ali Center is a little further this way. I'm gonna go over here by the Ali Center and come back over this direction. Go back over that way and check out more of the park. Goes the Muhammad Ali Center right here. It's a museum dedicated towards Louisville legend Muhammad Ali. The greatest to ever grace the ring. You guys haven't seen, for those who've never seen any footage of Muhammad Ali in the ring, go to YouTube, pull up Muhammad Ali, and you got to check it out. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That is the famous quote from Muhammad Ali, born cash as clay. It's him right here. The Louisville lip, that's what they called him, because of his trash talk. But he backed it up in the ring in more ways than one. And his evasiveness in the ring is really what a thing of art. You know what I'm saying? There goes the Ali Center. And you can even see a watercolor mural right over there that sits next to the public parking Riverfront garage. So I like the fact that the Ali Center faces the river, the Ohio River. So I'm gonna go to the interior of the Ali Center on my next visit to Louisville. But I had to come get at least the front of the museum, the outside. Really nicely designed. Back over here at the Belvedere Park, and here's a nice fountain over there. Nice little waterfall design you're gonna see. And it's a courtyard slash park that sits. You can see a good view of a couple of tall buildings here in Louisville. Guard House hotels I pointed out earlier. Again, you have this beautiful, nicely sculpted waterfall right here. Just listening to the sounds of that water hitting the surface is very relaxing. Let me go up. I think I can walk up this way to get closer to the river, or at least the view of the river. Check out this sculpture right here. This sculpture is a sculpture of a slave named York, simply called York. And I like this particular image because of the backdrop. But this sculpture is of York. Here he is holding a rifle in his left hand and a goose in his right hand that he obviously shot in hunting. Now, York was part of the Lewis and Clark expedition to the Pacific Ocean and was the first African American to cross the U.S. from coast to coast. Born a slave belonging to the Clark family, York was signed as a boy to be William Clark's servant. He moved with the Clarks from Virginia to Jefferson County in 1785 and grew to maturity on the frontier, learning all the skills necessary to survive in the wilderness. York was an experienced traveler by horse and boat and traveled extensively in the U.S. with William Clark. In July 1803, Clark accepted an invitation from his old Navy or Army friend, Meriwether Lewis, to join him as a co-commander of an exploring venture to the Pacific ordered by President Thomas Jefferson. So Clark began recruiting men from the Louisville area for the Corps of Discovery. Clark decided York would also go, but he was never an official member of the Corps. But this is a really nicely designed sculpture of York right here. So basically York traveled with the Corps over to the west, but he returned. He was expected to resume his old life as a slave, but the taste of equality, superiority, and even freedom he had enjoyed on the expedition has changed him. When Clark moved to St. Louis in 1808 and took with him York, was separated from his wife. The lifelong relationship of Clark and York, albeit master and slave, ruptured at this point. After the summer of 1809, two men were rarely together again, and York was hired out in Louisville to different men, some who mistreated him. So that was the story of York, the former slave. And he was enslaved by the Clark family and moved with them to Jefferson County from Virginia in 1875, or 1785 rather. And after return from expedition, he lived in Louisville and worked as a wagon driver. He was enslaved until at least 1815. Few sources remain of York's emancipation and life after, yet he continues to inspire Kentucky artists. So I've done a bit of vlogging in the history of Louisville right here in the city, and York is just all over the place, you know. He's all over the history between him, Lewis and Clark, you know, George Rogers Clark, Muhammad Ali. These are all huge figures in the Louisville, Kentucky lore of history. And I had to come get this sculpture right here. This sculpture is visible from the interstate. So now that I am over here up close to it, definitely couldn't go without taking advantage of getting some footage. Now this sculpture is of General George Rogers Clark, and it was sculpted by Felix W.D. Weldon, a gift to the people of Louisville by the Hillman Hopkins family. And Clark established a base on the Ohio River from which to carry out his military mission. The falls of the Ohio and Corn Island presented Clark with an ideal site. The island was located above the entrance to the present canal. It seemed the perfect setting for Clark's camp, offering protection from Indian attack and deterrent from desertion. So yes, the Clark and their crew was under threat of attack from the Native Americans. But this is the Falls of Ohio River, which was the point of origin for the famous expedition to explore the Louisiana Purchase in 1804. Captain William Clark, youngest brother of George Rogers Clark, led the trek with Meriwether Lewis. They returned in 1806 to display their trophies at Locust Grove, the home of the Clark's sister Lucy. And look at this astounding view of the Ohio River and its accompanying bridges. And you can see from this angle the Belle of Louisville riverboat. So I figured this would be the perfect place to conclude this Louisville, Kentucky vlog. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to the vlog. And if you made it this far, make sure you hit the like button. I appreciate you guys for riding and walking with me during this Louisville vlog to different sites and locations. Also, if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button along with the notification bell, and make sure when you hit the notification bell to select all. That way you get notified each and every time I drop a new vlog. And with that in mind, good people, from the Ohio Riverfront here in Louisville, Kentucky, I say peace, and I bid you a farewell. Have a great one.